Good morning, students. Today I will start the new chapter of the geography book, that is manufacturing industries. Now, before I will start with the manufacturing industries, first let's discuss the sectors in an economy, which we have already done in the economics also. See, there are the three sectors in the economy. First one is the primary sector, secondary sector, and third one is the tertiary sector. Primary sector, it includes agriculture or the extraction of the raw materials, pisciculture. So many things are included in the primary sector, that means from which we are getting the raw materials, just like sugar cane or maybe wood we are getting. So all these things, food grains, other things are also included in your primary sector. Secondary sector is that sector which converts the primary materials into finished goods. That means sugar we are getting from the sugar cane we are getting from the primary sector, but sugar cane is converted into a final good, that is sugar, in the secondary sector. Similarly, we get the wood from the primary sector, but paper we are getting because wood is converted into a paper. Similarly, other things just like iron and steel, all these things, iron ore and bauxite, all these things we are extracting from primary sector, but we are getting iron and steel and aluminium because these things are converted into the secondary sector. Similarly, some clothes also we are purchasing, that is also from the secondary sector because yarn itself is an industrial product. Now the third sector is the tertiary sector. Tertiary sector which provides us services. Services just like banking, insurance, transportation, communication, advertising, all these services are included in the tertiary sector. And all the three sectors are interrelated to each other because from the primary we are getting the raw materials, and that raw material is converted into a final good which we can consume directly, that is the secondary sector. And both the sectors are dependent on the tertiary because tertiary sector gives them a transportation facility, communication, even both the sectors want banking facility also, insurance also. So all three sectors are interrelated to each other. Now, but in this chapter we are going to discuss on the secondary sector and manufacturing sector because secondary sector is classified into two parts. First manufacturing and second one is construction. So here in this chapter we will focus on the manufacturing. That means secondary sector converts the primary materials into the finished goods, and basically the development of the country will be measured by the manufacturing sector, or maybe you can say the economic strength of a country is measured by the development of the manufacturing sector. Because if we will not make if our manufacturing industries are not working properly, then we have to be dependent on the other countries also. Just like iron and steel manufacturing, if it will be done in our country, so that means other industries also can be set up with the help of the iron and steel, because iron and steel is the basic metal which we require to set up the consumer goods industries also, or for the different types of the industries. And if we will be capable to produce the secondary goods, capable to produce the goods in our country also, then we will not be there is no need to be dependent on the other countries also. We can export the goods from our country to the other, and by this the country will also earn the foreign exchange, and foreign exchange gives the more strength to our economic strength to the development of the country. So what is the importance of the manufacturing sector? Importance of the manufacturing sector. See, we can say that manufacturing sector basically is considered as a backbone of the country, because if the manufacturing sector is developed, then primary sector also will get the development, and tertiary sector will also get the work. So important is to improve the manufacturing sector. Now, why it is considered as a backbone of the country, or why it is important? So importance of the manufacturing is, first of all, it reduces the dependence on agriculture. See, in our country we know that India is a developing country and 65% population is engaged in the agriculture. And we know that India is an agrarian economy, but because of the manufacturing sector, it reduces the burden of the people from agriculture sector, and it starts providing them jobs in the secondary and the tertiary sector. Because in our country, maximum disguised unemployment problem is faced in the agriculture sector. So the employees, those who their contribution or their per person productivity is nil in the agriculture sector, they can be shifted from the agriculture to the secondary sector or to the manufacturing sector. So the dependence for the livelihood on the agriculture, it reduces, because now the employees or the workers are shifted from agriculture to the manufacturing sector, and they are getting the alternative source of the income besides agriculture, and the dependency of the agriculture is reduced. Second importance is it reduces the regional disparities. That means we know that in our country, maximum economists or the philosophy behind the public sector industries is that eradication of the unemployment and poverty from our country can be done by the industrial development only. And if industrial development takes place in our country, the regional disparities will be reduced. See, private industries always set up in those areas where there is the availability of the infrastructure. So maximum time the government has to take the initiative. That's why the public sector industries and the joint sector ventures started in India. Joint sector ventures, that means when the two companies start working together. Now in these days, public company, that means government companies, gives the contract to the private companies to complete the target, just like for the dam, maybe for the bridges, for metro. These all are the projects of the government, but they are giving this contract to the private industries. So when two companies are working together, that is joint sector ventures. So whenever the government industries or the joint ventures will start in our country, so it will reduce the regional disparity. That means in the rural areas or in the backward areas, tribal areas, the industries can set up, and by the establishment of the industries, the problem of the unemployment and the poverty can be reduce. So manufacturing sector also reduces the regional disparities, because development can be happen because of the manufacturing industries only. Because if industries will start, automatically market will come. When market will come, people will also start residing over there. So definitely the improvement we can see in that particular area. Increase foreign exchange, that means if manufacturing sector flourished in our country, and if we will be capable to produce the things by own, so not only the production of the goods will expand, trade and commerce will expand, but even we can start exporting it also. And when we will start exporting the things or exporting the goods, it will increase the foreign exchange, because in return of the goods we will get the foreign currency. So automatically our foreign exchange reserves will increase. India can become prosperous by diversifying its manufacturing industries. Yeah, we know that after the independence also, only Tata or Birlas, these were the two capital goods industries were there in our country, and for so long we were dependent on import for the iron and for the steel. So now there is the high need that we should increase the manufacturing industries in our country, and those countries, those who are able to transform the raw material into the final good, they are earning the profit, they become a prosperous countries. And India can also become prosperous by diversifying its manufacturing industries as quickly as possible. Now the next sentence I have written over here, agriculture and industry move hand in hand. See, this is the question also. We can explain this statement, agriculture industries move hand in hand. That means both the sectors are dependent on each other, they are not exclusive to each other. That means improvement in the agriculture takes place because of the improvement in the industries. How? Just like agro industries boost up the production or the growth of the agriculture sector, because earlier in the agriculture sector we were dependent on the primitive inputs, or maybe uh, or on the monsoons also. But because of the agro-based industries, we are able to get the irrigation pumps, fertilizers, insecticides, pesticides, PVC pipes, so many machines, different type of inputs now we are able to get for the agriculture. So in short, we can say that agro industries boost the agriculture, because earlier we were using the primitive tools, we were dependent on the monsoon also, and maximum the farmers facing the problem of the pest attack. But because of the agro based industries, we are getting the fertilizers. Because of that, the production increases. Now there is no need to be dependent on the rainfall. Irrigation pumps are available, insecticides are available, different tools, harvesters, tractors, so many things are available because of the industries. So because of the industries only, the agriculture boost up. Now the next topic is contribution of industry to national economy. See, the target which we need, or the growth rate which India requires in the next decade, for that thing, or maybe if we want a growth rate of the 12%, for that growth rate we need the contribution of the manufacturing sector in the GDP should increase. So the government has to make some policies, and with the appropriate policy interventions or by the continuous efforts by the industry, it will improve the productivity. And economists in our country, they predict that the manufacturing sector is able to achieve their target over the next decade. And the National Manufacturing Competitiveness Council, NMCC, they have set up with this objective. That means from the last two decades, the contribution of the manufacturing sector is not satisfactory, but the next target of our economy to get the growth rate is 12%, and to achieve this growth rate, we are in the high need that the contribution of the industrial sector or the manufacturing sector should increase. So some objectives are set up by NMCC, and by the appropriate policy interventions of the government, the Indian manufacturing sector is able to achieve this target. Now the next topic is industrial location. See, industrial location, whenever the entrepreneurs are trying to set up their industry, they try to find out so many things or all the resources or the inputs at the nearby place, and the location of the industry is affected by the availability of raw material, labor, capital, electricity, market availability, transportation facilities, market accessibility. Everything is all these factors affect the industrial location. But it is not possible for the entrepreneurs to find out all such inputs at the one place. So basically resources should be available or can be arranged at the low cost. So that means we know that all the things, so we will not get it at the one place. So what the entrepreneurs are doing, they tries to get the maximum resources at the same place, or maybe they choose that place where they can arrange all the resources, just like capital, market, labors, transportation, communication, electricity, at the low cost, so that their factors of production become, if the factors of the productions are cheaper, their cost of production will automatically reduce. And when the cost of production will be reduced, then only the businessman can earn the profit. So they try to choose the location where maximum resources are available, or they can arrange at the low cost. Because what is the basic motive of the business persons? They want to earn the maximum profit, and maximum profit can be earned when the resources will be arranged at the low cost. Second thing, industrialization and the urbanization go hand in hand. It means that when the industries are set up, automatically the urbanization or the market starts developing in that particular area. And sometimes industries are located near the cities area. So we can say that industrialization and urbanization go hand in hand, because what they do, market always provide the services. Market will also provide the services just like banking facility, insurance, transportation, labor, counselors, consultants we want, financial analysts we want. So all these things are available, and these things will be given to the industries with the help of the market. So many industries always try to set up their the businessman always try to set up their industries where they will get maximum resources available at the same place, and they will make use of the advantages offered by the urban centers, which is known as agglomeration economies. Agglomeration economies means where maximum resources are available so that the entrepreneurs can take the advantage. Okay. Now government policies also influences the location. Yeah, sometimes in the regional areas, rural areas, backward areas, hilly areas, tribal areas, in such areas government gives the relaxation to set up the industries. Just like for 5 years there is some relaxation in the sales tax. Sometimes for 5 years there is relaxation given in the electricity bill or for the water bill, or the different type of infrastructural facilities are also given to them. So government policies also affect the industrial location. Now the next topic which we are going to discuss, that is classification of the industries. So first of all, the classification on the industries that we are going to read on the basis of raw material. So on the basis of the raw material, two categories: agro based or mineral based. That means those industries which are getting the raw material from the agriculture. Just like for making the sugar we are getting the sugar cane, so that is agro based industries. Rubber, coffee, silk, cotton, all these things are included in the agro based industries. And second thing, those industries who are dependent on the minerals, just like iron and steel, cement, aluminium, all these things industries are come into this category. Now second one is the according to their role, according to their main role. First of all, capital industries and consumer industries. Capital industries are those industries which are useful for the further production. Without these things, the other things production cannot be done. Just like iron and steel, without iron and steel the other industries also cannot be set up. So the iron and steel smelting companies or aluminium smelting companies, they are getting the raw material from the basic or the capital goods industries. Another one is the consumer industries. Consumer industries are those industries which produces the goods which can be directly consumed by the consumers. That means just like toothpaste, clothes, that we are directly consuming it. So the industries which are producing such type of the goods which can be consumed by the consumer directly, that are consumer industries. Now the next one is on the basis of the investment. See, small scale industries also comes into the another category according to the MSME, that means micro, small and medium enterprises. So basically large scale industries and the small scale industries. For this type of the industries only the limit is defined, otherwise for the large scale industries there is no limit for that thing. Small scale industries are those industries in which the maximum investment in the land or machinery does not exceed rupees 1 crores. 1 crore से ज़्यादा आपका इन्वेस्टमेंट इंक्रीज नहीं होना चाहिए in the assets like machinery or in the land. Some other categories are also there, but that is not in your syllabus. Now the next one, on the basis of the ownership. First one is the public sector. Public sector, that means the government sector. Those industries which are controlled, owned and operated by the government, just like BPCL, HPCL, BHEL, DRDO, SAIL, all these things are included in the public sector. Private sector, which is owned, controlled and operated by the individual person, just like Tisco, Reliance, all these are the private sector companies. Joint ventures, joint sector industries which are jointly run by the state or by the individual, maybe government or maybe other any private person also can start their companies, that is joint venture. And it is not must, just like maybe one private industrialist or the other one is the foreigner, they can also start the joint venture. Just like example I can give you Maruti Suzuki Maruti is an Indian company and Suzuki is a Japanese company. So that is the joint venture. ठीक है. Same thing, Oil India Limited, oil is jointly owned by the public or the private sector. So that type of the sector is known as a triple P. Now, the cooperative sectors which is owned and operated by the 10 volunteer peoples, though, and they started such type of the societies for the welfare of the society, and these are controlled, or maybe they are getting the benefit from the government also. So cooperative societies, their main motive is to earn the, not to earn the profit, just to do the welfare. So basically what these 10 volunteer peoples are doing, they are pooling up their resources. Pooling up, that means they used to collect the resources and they share the profit and losses. Just like sugar industries in the Maharashtra, these are the examples of the cooperative societies. And for the cooperative society, you can see farmers cooperative societies, producers cooperative societies, financial cooperative societies are also available. So they are different type of cooperative societies. Now the last one is based on the bulk and the weight. That means on the bulk and the weight of the raw material. Heavy industries and light industries. Heavy industries whose raw materials are bulky, so that are included in the heavy industries, just like iron and steel. These raw materials are very bulky, very heavy. Light industries that use the light raw materials and they produce also the goods which is in the lightweight, just like electrical appliances or clothes or the other things you can see. Okay, so in this chapter today we have completed types of sectors in the economy, then importance of the manufacturing sector, then how the agriculture and industries go hand in hand. After that, what is the target of the manufacturing sector to achieve the target, achieve the 12% growth rate. After that, what are the factors which are responsible for the industrial location. After that, we completed the last topic, classification of the industries on the 5 bases.